is my sound working now? Way, take two. Welcome to Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live, like now. I was live a few minutes ago, but unfortunately YouTube decided to stop my sound. So YouTube isn't always reliable, bless its heart, but I do thank it for helping me to spread awareness of asexuality. And so yeah, hi again. Hi Sam, hi Andy. So yeah, I do apologise for the inconvenience of the sound. My hair's soaking wet still from the shower. Hi Eddie. Wondering what happened. I know I've had such a busy day as well because I've just been changing everything on my asexualized sites and spent hours on that today, which is why I was eating late in the shower, still got wet hair, and why everything's just gone woo woo. By the way, if you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this beautiful book, which is Asexual Perspectives, 47 asexual stories, love, life, and sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. And these are real life, true stories, in case you didn't know. So Eddie has given me permission to share a little bit of his story, and hopefully he might share his full story for my future asexual love stories book, which I haven't really gone into because I'm still working on the Asexual Guide to Sex book at the moment, but there is going to be a love stories book coming out in the future after the Asexual Guide to Sex book. So, and there's going to be a lot of other books as well for asexual, so I'm super excited about that. Anyway, Eddie's given me permission to share a little bit. So basically, I have an asexualized page on Facebook. In case you didn't know, the link is in the description, as in the link to my book and my other social media stuff. And so Eddie came on and he wanted to share his personal story in a private message with me about how he ended up being in a relationship with an asexual person, despite the fact he's not actually asexual himself. So first of all, I want to say he's very brave to share that, obviously, with me, and to be on this channel, subscribe to it. I do have other people who are not asexual subscribe to this channel. For example, Heather, she's one of the people who's my regulars on this channel, and she's not actually asexual. So I do welcome people who are not asexual to this channel, obviously. And I hope I can help a lot of people, you know, in relationships with asexuals, even if they're not asexual themselves. So first of all, I want to take my hat off to Eddie and say thank you so much for seeing that asexual love is the purest form of love that you can get. And so that's what tonight's video is going to be about. You know, why is asexual love the purest form of love, and the benefits of asexual love. And it was because of Eddie like came to me in private message and said I could share some of his story, you know, which I'm saying now. Damn Skippy it is. Yeah, so you know, I mean, I don't know how much you want me to go into or how much you want me to say for the book, so I wasn't going to go into everything, but basically with Eddie's story, Eddie came across an asexual person 10 years ago that they saw online, and then basically they had like this real deep interest in this asexual person. I didn't know she was at the time. Oh, bless you. So Eddie didn't know she was asexual at the time, and I'm not going to say all the details at the moment. You know, that's up to Eddie if he wants to share it in the book. I'm hoping he's going to be in the book sharing his story, which will be amazing. But basically, it says that you would talk to her on and off for many years, and one day she vanished out of your life, and then it's so romantic actually. And then Eddie yeah, just wished that she would turn up again in his life, and she did. And so that was absolutely incredible. And it just goes to show that if you believe in the law of attraction, as in you attract what you think about, what you feel, you become. If you believe in the law of attraction, which I do talk about sometimes on this channel, then obviously what we think about, or we put energy into. I made a wish to my moon goddess, and yeah, it happened so perfectly. So Eddy's telling you the proper story, yeah. I'm trying I'm trying to be conservative with the truth, but yeah, if you're happy to share that, that's great. So yeah, I made a wish to my moon goddess. Yeah, we're quite spiritual on this channel, so you know, we understand stuff like that. And yeah, it happened so perfectly. So yeah, so I will read this little bit then. And I looked up at the moon and wished to find the other half of my soul. Well, the next day I see her online and we chat, and I tell her I miss her, and I still have the pet she got me, which I think is something to do with gaming, isn't it? Is it to do with gaming or TV or something? And anyway, yeah, it's really good because she asked Eddy out, and she said that she wasn't into that she is into open communication, no games. She said she is a sex repulsed asexual. Yeah, it was a game. Brilliant. So 2 years later, Eddy is oh sorry, I missed a bit. So basically she asked Eddy out and said how she is into open communication, no games. She said she is a sex repulsed asexual, and if I wanted to back away now, that was fine. So I said I want to stick with this. And that is what I think is so important, because I'm always telling people on this channel, you must be very, very honest if you're asexual. It's not fair, because Eddy's not asexual. He's told me he's a sexual guy. He's not asexual. So I think he's very brave for coming on this channel, which I applaud you for, and for sharing this story, which is amazing. And you know, it's just incredible. And I thank you for being here, you know, because there's many people don't believe a sexual person can be with an asexual without sex. Do you know what I mean? They don't believe that. And I know there's some people I have seen on YouTube who are sexual with asexuals and don't have sex, you know, because sex is not the same as love, as asexuals know. And obviously people who are awakened, more spiritual, I guess, more into deeper meaningful stuff, they can kind of see that love and sex aren't the same thing. They are things that a lot of people intertwine together and that go together for a lot of people, but it doesn't have to be that way. And so Eddy's story is so refreshing, and especially as you know the time, you know, when it started 10 years ago, it's incredible story. And you know, I want to thank Eddy, really. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah, so his girlfriend said that if he wanted to back out now, that he could, you know. And I think it's so important for asexuals to be honest with their sexual potential partner, you know. It's not fair, you know. Asexuals say, oh, when should I tell the person I'm in a relationship with or dating? It's like, you should tell them up front, and it's up to them to decide. Don't waste their life, don't waste yours, don't waste each other's time or energy. Be upfront and honest. Eddy, I'm 42, that drive will die, I guess, and all I want is this girl in my life. And yes, I read many stories of failures. I tried to read more on all of this. Well, there is I don't think you've got my asexual perspectives book, have you yet? But there is a person in this book who is asexual, and they're with a bisexual person, and they don't have sex. So there is a successful asexual with sexual relationship actually in this book. There's 47 people in this book, including me, my story, personal story. And it takes a very kind of informal interview style, and pretty much answers everything you want to know about asexuality when you're first finding out about it. So it doesn't give just textbook definitions of asexuality. It actually gives an in-depth look from people's perspectives of what it's really like for asexuals to live in a highly sexualized world from their point of view. So it's really good, because if you go online, a lot of stuff's textbook definition, and it doesn't put it into actual context of what that's like living and breathing as an asexual person in a relationship and in certain scenarios. Do you know what I mean? So that's why this book's good. There is someone who is in a relationship with a bisexual person. They said that they weren't bothered about the sex, it didn't matter. So yeah, it's really good that, you know, you want the girl in your life, and that's the most important thing to you. So you know, I just think it's really good. So I said I want to stick with this. So 2 years later, we are still in this long distance relationship, and I plan to see her in September to see how it goes. She mentions how she is sorry she cannot take care of my needs in that way, but I tell her it's perfectly okay. And then Eddy said, this is the first pure relationship I have had. We have had 0 arguments in the 2 years we have been a couple, and I don't bug her with those needs when they come up. And I think that's wonderful, you know, really, really, really wonderful. You know, I do agree that asexuality is the purest form of love. And why is that? It's because we can love someone for who they really are as a person. That is an awesome love story. You're clearly a good guy, Eddy. Yeah, Eddy is clearly a good guy. I am so pleased for him, you know, because I try, because I really want you to be in my asexual love stories book as well when it comes out. I've got to finish the Asexual Guide to Sex book first. Oh, you're tearing up a bit. Well, you are a good guy, you know, especially to come on this channel as well. I know you said to me you were a little bit scared about, I think, about approaching me first, but I'm friendly enough. I have been in sexual relationships in the past for half my life, so I do understand heterosexuals and sexuals in general very well, actually. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone's completely sex obsessed, although I tend to attract the really highly sexual guys that are sex obsessed. So if a guy fancies me, it's usually because he's really sexual, sadly. I live in hope. I live in hope. And that's what I want to say, you know, this story, this true real life, beautiful, beautiful love soulmate story is incredible, because it gives hope to us as well that, you know, that some asexuals can be with sexuals, you know. So recently I met this guy that wasn't asexual, and as you know, he wasn't honest, so I'm not seeing him again. But my mum was like, oh, why are you even interested in these people? You know, is he asexual? And I said, no. She goes, well, why are you bothering with him then? I said, because I still want a relationship despite the fact I'm asexual, you know. And I know that not every single sexual person has to have sex. There are a few, I think they're minority. I do agree they're a minority, but I think there are a few people who are sexual that can live without sex. Do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously there's masturbation for a start that they can do if they want to. But, you know, a lot of the time, you know, some guys don't have such a high sex drive as others that they can do without that. Do you know what I mean? I was sex obsessed when I was younger, but has been 7 years now with no sex. Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. Really incredible. It's nice that you admit that as well. It's really nice you admit that. Yeah, it's really good you admit that. I mean, it was kind of like there was a guy actually, because I'm in sexual dating groups now on Facebook, not just asexual. I run 5 asexual groups, 3 dating groups for asexuals, and I haven't met the right person yet for a relationship. So that's why I'm trying to delve into the fact of maybe there is a sexual guy for me somewhere in the world that can live without sex. I mean, to be honest, you are few and far between. But there was a guy, where is he? And he is in one of the sexual dating groups on Facebook that I'm in, and he did private message me, and he seemed, I mean, he hasn't got a full profile, you know, he's got one of those symbols, and when they got the symbols, you know that you can't really totally trust them. They're not being completely open and honest, and there's a lot of, sadly, spammers in that thing. But he seemed, you know, quite a nice person, but basically you know, this is a guy who isn't asexual. I just thought I'd read some of it out. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to reveal this guy's name because I'm not going to do it. He hasn't given me permission to share all this, but you know, I'll keep him anonymous because I just think it would help. So they said that they seen the post, which is old. They just happened to join the group. He wants someone to kiss that has an immense meaning to it in terms of love. And I think that's because I do like kissing. So he said, I really have the same intentions as you, as yes, I want to just kiss someone as that has an immense meaning to it in terms of love. So this is a guy from my sexual dating group, and they were talking and saying, oh, you're such a delightful person. They're into older girls. But basically this person's been hurt before. And they said, yeah, it's true what you're saying. It makes perfect sense. So what did I say? They said they're into older women. And when I saw your post, I just couldn't stop but to text you. I'm younger, so trying new things. And the thought of being asexual poured a new meaning into my life. And I'm very interested to delve into that part of reality. So I was a little bit like cautious about that, but I was like, thank you. Well, asexuality is a sexual orientation that's a lack of sexual attraction. So you can't make yourself asexual if you experience sexual attraction. But a few limited heterosexual guys can live without sex and be with an asexual person because sex isn't love. And this is what I was saying to this guy from the sexual dating group on Facebook, one of them I'm in. And then he replied, yes, I truly believe what you say. And it makes perfect sense. People only have lust these days, and it is kind of putting me off from this whole idea of having sex. I wish I knew asexual women near me. So the thing is, this guy doesn't live near me. He lives in the UK, but not live near me. And I put asexual, so he really wants someone near him, which is why I think he hasn't bothered to speak to me again since. And he's put asexuals are 1% of pop. I've put asexuals are 1% of the population, and we are pretty spread out across the UK and the globe. There may be asexuals in your area, but they are unlikely to be in a sexual dating group. I'm a bit bonkers going in there, to be honest, because they're very sexual in that group. Many are not out about being asexual. I am out to the world, and we are all different. I like kissing, but many are not that into kissing. I'm super romantic, but not all asexuals are romantic or have romantic feelings, and some don't even want a relationship. And it said, well, yes, and I wish if you were here, because of a woman of your caliber, it's very hard to find. I wish you were here. You know, they do flatter, so you got to be very careful with sexual guys. No offense to Eddy, obviously. Eddy's welcome here, but some of these people in these dating groups, they kind of say what they think you want to hear, so you got to be careful of them. But he's put, and I would definitely want to spend time with you and explore the true meaning of love. So he is getting the idea. He is laying it on thick. Exactly, Eddy. He is laying it on thick. He's really pumping it up to the sounds like a trap. Yeah. I'm glad you said that rather than me. Yeah, exactly. He hasn't spoken to me since, and it's okay. I mean, he wants to do a job that I'm not really comfortable about, the job he wants to do. It just seems weird to me. It's not a sexual job. It's the opposite, but it just seems weird to me. But yeah, like you said, he's laying it on thick. And he's really trying to butter me up. You know, when he said, oh, a woman of your caliber, it's like, well, yes, I'm not going to deny that, but like you said, it sounds like a trap. So anyway, I like living on my own and don't want marriage or kids. And then he put, neither do I want kids or nor marriage. And if the woman wants to be alone, then I'm not bothered, because as long as she provides me love, that is what I need. You see, it does sound very can't do such things. It's bad. You need to be honest. Yeah, I know. The last guy I actually dated, he was not good at all. He was really bad guy, really dishonest. Bad with dishonesty. I'm not saying he's bad completely, but bad with dishonesty. but yeah, he wasn't a good guy, if I'm honest. But I just don't, you know, I'm parking that now. He's done and dusted. I expect there's a nice fluffy heart in there somewhere eventually. So anyway, but this is kind of sad because he's put, well, previously I was with a woman 12 years older than me. We had sex and did everything, but she was immensely toxic and used me for her university, which completely destroyed me on the inside. And the sex was just a means of manipulation by her. Because of this, I do not want any sexual relationships anymore, but prefer to express my true love with the art of passionate kissing. And trust me, I'm the master of passionate kissing. Oh, dearie me. Yeah. I said I was loving the kissing, not the fact she did that to you. Oh no, do not worry. I truly understand. I'm sorry you had that experience. Some women do use sex to manipulate guys, as do some guys manipulate women. Well, you don't have to be. It was an experience, a bad one, but I'm done and dusted with that. It's time to move on and be open and joyous. He's overselling, is he? I think you should be on this channel more often, Eddy, to analyze, because obviously it helps when there's sexual people who can analyze this stuff more closely. As being an asexual person, you tend to think more innocently about people, about, you know what I mean? You tend to don't you think the nice well, I tend to think more like nicer about people in general. I mean, I'm a bit more clued up though. I do like, you know what I mean? I am a bit more like on the ball, but quite a lot of asexuals, but even me, do like to think of people as being good people, you know? So I've done this stupid stuff. It's awful. Oh, really? You're very helpful then. You could really help out with the book, actually. And that you could help us all on this channel, you see. I didn't know you'd done this stuff before, but it's really nice that you admit that. And it's really good that you can help us because we need help. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. Asexuals and sexuals can learn from each other. It's very important. He said, well, if you tell me what you're looking for, then definitely I can be interested in that. Plus, I can come. That's not an issue for me. But I mean, eventually, he just got. He said he was in a previous relationship for at least 2 years, but then had to call it quits because it wasn't going anywhere. So, and he said that I was an awful guy in my youth. Oh, bless you. Well, yeah. I mean, I was asking him, what was I asking him? Oh, right. I'm looking to get to know a guy as a friend first, to understand him and him me. I'm looking for a very honest guy and someone I can get to know over time. I am looking for a monogamous, long-term, committed relationship with a guy who can live without sex forever in a monogamous relationship and be faithful always. I'm looking for a guy to eventually come to live near me, but not with me, as my life partner, but not looking to rush into anything either, as I value my freedom and independence, so only want to get into a relationship with a guy who wants the same things as me long term. And then he's put, okay, your point makes a lot of sense, and that is definitely something I'm interested in. Yes, I will also move to the woman that cares for me and cherishes me as much as I do her. And I never cheated in my previous relationship. So, yeah, being faithful and loyal are features I possess perfectly. But at the end of the day, he wants to get a job because I asked him what his long term goal is. His goal is to get a job in his city, a specific job. So, therefore, how would he move? Do you see what I mean? So, already you start to see the discrepancies between what he's actually saying and what he previously said. This is how you can call up red flags very quickly. I said some guys can't be faithful unless sex is in the relationship, and a no sex relationship is a huge commitment, especially when lots of women are throwing themselves at guys left, right, and center. How long were you in your previous relationships for? It was at least 2 years, but then I had to call it quits myself because it wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, that's about it. And I only have had one. So he's saying he only have had this one relationship. He's 25, I think. Yeah, 25. Oh, I have another story that happened before our first anniversary. Oh, that sounds quite good. Um, what else did this guy say? Oh, yeah, he's originally from another country, but family moved in 2012 for education, better living. We have all got British passports now and are very pleased to be citizens of the UK. Obviously, I haven't asked for proof from him. I asked for proof from another guy, which is quite funny. He gave me proof. And the other guy recently who I was dated gave me proof that he didn't want me to say, shall we say. I'm grateful and humble for what I've achieved and will achieve in the future. Right. Yeah, I was asking him what his job is. Because I said about oh, that is good. A lot of people in the groups are after a visa. I get a lot of guys interested in me but don't want someone who's after a visa. And he put, ha, I get your concerns. I'm definitely not one of those. I believe in working hard to achieve your goals rather than sucking other people's energy and resources. I'm grateful and humble for what I have achieved and will achieve in the future. So he said he graduated this year. That is because of moving here and missing time out on education. I got a first class in biochemistry. So, but yeah, he's going to go for a job at the end of May. But it's a weird job he wants to go for. Very weird job. He wants to be work in the prison service, be a prison officer. I find that bizarre, to be quite honest with you. But my ambitions are to give back to the country for what they have done for me and my family. My dream is to be happy and live my life to the fullest. What would that look like for you? I said. And he's put, I mean, being in an honest relationship and caring for the people dear to me. I put, I know in your culture that your parents expect marriage and kids. He put, they do, but they're in the UK and have to respect others. And believe me, if I tell them my other half doesn't want children, they will understand. Even if they don't, it does not matter, as it's my life and I choose what I do with it. So you won't need to worry about anything. But he said he wants to become a prison officer so he can help rehabilitate people to become the best versions of themselves. I mean, that all sounds quite good, actually. But I said, so did you used to be in crime yourself? Because a lot of the people I know that are interested in stuff to do with prisons, they've either been in crime themselves or they know someone who's been involved in crime. Because one of my friends, her ex used to be involved in, well, her ex was in prison. Her ex is no longer alive. And she had a deep interest in then working, going to do work stuff for the prison. Because she had her guy was in prison. He sadly died. I knew him as well in the past with her, but they weren't together when I knew them. And that was before he got into crime. But he knows one of his closest friends was into crime in his previous country, so that's why he's interested in it and how he didn't want to change. I saw how his family suffered and are still suffering, so I do not want that to happen to anyone. So I thought it was quite nice, actually. So maybe he is. I thought he's more likely to turn the truth on this. Because I said, how does that tie in with your education in biochemistry? So he doesn't, but because I've had experience in dealing with people, I've seen how much people are depressed, especially in the north. I want to do something better for them. So I just thought he sounded like he was quite nice. In the end, he was telling me what his sister did, what his brother was doing, what his mum and dad was doing. He wanted to know about me. So although he's laying it on really thick, he sounded like really nice in the end. But I mean, he left this message and do text me if you ever want to feel better. It's like, I feel perfectly happy and fine on my own, thank you. I don't need a guy to make me feel better, do you know what I mean? But Eddy, 4 days before that, this girl that used to go to my job to hang out messaged me on Facebook and she said she missed me and wanted something sexual. I said I was with someone and she stopped talking to me. Oh, that's really good. That's really, really good, Eddy, because I had a guy who was asexual, presumably, and he's Indian, and I'm really attracted to Indian guys. And he's the first Indian guy that ever broke my heart. He was on an asexual dating site, and I spoke to him. I thought he was really interested in me, and all of a sudden, he just cut off conversation with me. Just after she said she wanted to keep me in her life, laugh out. So I sent her my girlfriend the entire convo. Because one, she deserves to know. This is really good, Eddy. Yes, this is really good. I'm glad you're a really honest guy like that. Because asexuals need a really honest person. And so this person doesn't try to ruin what I have. this is really good. I hope you blocked them as well. Really important you block them if you haven't already, because this particular asexual guy, he got a girlfriend. He broke my heart. Then he got a girlfriend. This is years later. He got a girlfriend, then came back into my life and decided that he wanted to be my friend. Oh, I'm sorry the way it ended between us, you know. I've got a girlfriend now, you know, but I'd love to be your friend. I'm like, well, no, I told him, no, I don't want to be friends with you. I don't think that's a good idea. And he's like, oh, sorry, sorry, you feel that way. He was like blaming me still for what happened. So do you know what I mean? So it's no good. But yeah, it's good that you are, and two. So this, you are an honest guy, yeah. So my girl said she isn't the jealous type. But what the fuck is her deal? Laugh out loud. Yeah, but that's what they do. I mean, I've spoken on this channel before, Eddy, which obviously you probably haven't seen all my videos. What happens usually is when you're in a relationship, you become more popular. I don't know how it happens, but you become more popular and everyone wants to know you. It's a case of if they can't have you, they don't want anyone else to have you. That's why they get like it. They don't really care about you or give a stuff about you. I've had this happen to me. It's because when you become popular or you're in a relationship, then they want you, because they can't actually have you, and they, you know, maybe they've split up with their boyfriend or things are going wrong in their life, so they decide to like encroach on yours. Yeah, like Sam said, you obviously value your girl. I adore her so much. This is good. It's really, really good. And yeah, I mean, the you know, asexual love, I believe truly and honestly, is a very purest form of love you can get, because the asexual love, we love the person for who they are, and we're not going to cheat on them. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to go and have sex with someone else. So you don't have to worry about all that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? A genuine asexual. You know, we're not going to like go and do that type of thing. I'm not going to ruin what I have for some sexual moments. Oh, exactly, Eddy. It's good. And I hope you blocked that girl out of your life. Do you know what I mean? I hope you the girl that was that messaged you on Facebook, I hope you blocked her on Facebook. Make sure you block her so she's gone and she's got the message, and make sure you block her on your phone and everything. I believe I did. That's good. That's good. I always block people, you know, like it's always better to make clear cut ends. Do you know what I mean? And just forget about these people and completely completely block them out of your life. So there's no temptation either way, then, is there? Do you know what I mean? And it's good that you value your girl. It really is good that you value your girl so much. It's really, really nice. You know, and it's very interesting. It's long distance as well, because it's lasted 2 years already, long distance, which is incredible. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm a very affectionate, kissing asexual, so I don't think I could ever be in a long distance relationship unless it was in the same country and I could see them every like month or something, once a month, or do you know what I mean? That type of thing. Once every 6 weeks. I wouldn't want to, you know, I do actually like foreign guys. So maybe I'll have to go to a foreign country one day, even though I don't want it, because I love the UK, but you never know. But yeah, it's really, really interesting, because there was a story as well on acebook.net about an asexual that went and took a risk going to another asexual's house in another country, and it worked out well for them. But it's not something I would usually recommend, just go to someone's house and stay with them for a week when you don't know who they are, because not everyone is good on the internet. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's really, really good. I mean, 2 years already, that's wow, it's really incredible. You must have a very special bond. And I think that's what's so good about asexual love, is you can bond, you can have this really deep soulmate connection, which personally, when I was in the past with heterosexual guys, I never got that deep soulmate connection. It was a lot more superficial love, superficial feelings, superficial. It just was. Do you know what I mean? A lot of Doctor Who talk and RPGs. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, asexuals tend to like more like innocent stuff. I think we do, and we tend to like more like talk about things like hobbies, interests, and stuff. So asexuality and asexual love is a very healthy form of love, because our love's usually based on this deep emotional connection we have with someone, rather than the physical stuff. And also it's based on hobbies and interests and things you have in common, because at the end of the day, if you don't have much in common with each other, the relationship isn't going to last very long, because we're not interested in sex. And a lot of people that are heterosexual, for example, that are into sex, when that fades away or fades down, sometimes couples haven't got much in common. Andy likes Doctor Who, yeah. Do you see what I mean? So you can get to a sense where asexuals, we look for a lot of other things. So, for example, when we're on asexual dating sites as well, it's kind of like we're looking more for a description of a person's whole persona, like the hobbies they're into, the interests they're into, you know, and we need that really direct communication where we cut through all the bullshit, if you know what I mean. In my opinion, it's a much better way, and we're very open usually about sex. Actually, we're more open about sex than sexuals in general are. Too much of my life was spent worrying about the physical, and the quality of the relationships were just barrel scrapping. Yeah, that's really good you're saying that, Eddie. It's really good, you know. It is a very low quality, I think. You know what I mean? When it's focused so much on the physical stuff. It's like the guy I recently like saw at a club, and he's messaging me for a week. There wasn't any conversation. He was sexual, not asexual, but he lied saying he didn't like sex. When I video chat with him, he said he did love sex but preferred to kiss. But I mean, very big difference between I do not like it to yeah, I love it. Do you know what I mean? Lying. But you know what I mean? It's very much like he wasn't even in talking to me very much. He wasn't really listening to what I was saying. And it's very all like, even though I wasn't having sex with him, he's very like, he loved my kissing, because I did kiss him in the club. And it was all about, a lot of it was about that, about the fact he wanted me to kiss at him a lot. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and that gets, I love kissing, don't get me wrong, but I get bored. I don't want a guy who's just going to want to kiss me and not do anything else and talk about, you know, and want to go out with me and spend time with my personality, not just my physicality. Do you know what I mean? I told her once, if you want to, fine. If that's not, I told her once, if you want to, fine. If not, that's also fine. I know she will never, but I wanted her to see I am here for her. Oh yeah, sex repulsed asexuals don't tend to want sex ever. We tend to hate it and think it's disgusting. So I used to have sex, but I'm personally sex repulsed these days. So even the thought of it makes me cringe, and I can't actually do it. I can't physically do that. Do you know what I mean? So I can't bring myself to do that. And a lot of asexuals, if they force themselves to have sex when they don't want it, they feel like they're abusing their own bodies, they're betraying themselves. They feel disgusting. Do you see what I mean? Because it's not true to who they are. It's not part of their soul. And that's why it's different. Because I mean, I am writing the book Asexual Guide to Sex, and some people are like, why are you writing that book if you're asexual? They don't understand it. But there are some asexuals that will try having sex, and it can be a very traumatic thing just thinking about it, you know. Even for the asexuals that are not sex repulsed, some of them, like, they go through in their head, you know, like mind, like, what am I meant to be doing? Like, how do I prepare for sex? What do I do during it? Because they don't have a clue. It's not something that's naturally in their being. It's not something that's naturally in their mind. It's not something they naturally think about. So it's kind of like a foreign object in their life that suddenly comes in. And the reason I'm doing the book is because there are some asexuals that will try it. There are actually some asexuals, quite a lot in the world, that are from certain types of cultures where sex is expected part of the relationship. For example, Pakistani people, Indian people, a lot of them, especially women, are expected to get married to, but it's not just women. I've had guys from those countries who they're expected to get married and have sex with their partner, and they're like, I don't know what to do about it. You know, what's going to happen if I decide to do that? What's coming up for me? So that's why I decided to write the book. And also, the book is like a really immersive experience into the difference of the mindset between the asexual person thinking or having sex and the sexual person thinking about having sex. It's really, really is going to be the best book on sex ever written, because it's so insightful. It just gives you so much detail. It's like you're actually in the brain of the asexual person that's telling their personal story, and you're completely immersed in what happened to them. It's just an incredible book. I'm so grateful to the universe for letting me write it, because I've never ever known a book like it personally. She also has anxiety in a big way, and I have to be very loving and patient. Oh, that's good, Eddy. Not because she has anxiety, but good you're patient, loving and patient. A lot of asexuals do have anxiety. A lot have depression and a lot of anxiety. I hold asexual meetups in my city of Exeter in the UK, and many of the people that come to my meetups have got anxiety. I'm quite well known for having meetups where people who have anxiety and other special needs or mental health problems do come to my meetups, and they find them very, very helpful and useful. I do have anxiety still myself to a certain extent, especially relationship anxiety. My anxiety goes through the roof whenever I'm thinking about getting into a potential relationship, because I haven't had good experiences in the past of relationships. And you don't really know someone until you know them, if you know what I mean. So that's probably why she's really appreciated getting to know you well for 2 years as well. And that you're very, very honest, that you showed her what other women have been messaging you, because it does show that you are a very, very honest person, and that you really are interested in her and being completely upfront and open with her. And you do have to be very loving and patient with someone who has anxiety. The worst possible people for someone with anxiety is when they say, oh, when they or people who have any problems like in relationships in the past, is when someone turns around and says to them about being oversensitive, or about being emotional. That those are big no-nos. You should never say to someone in a relationship, because that's kind of narcissistic, unempathetic type of people who would do that. Do you know what I mean? And people who are not good, because everyone has the right to be sensitive. Everyone has the right to be upset. Everyone has the right to be how they are, and having anxiety for years myself, that will never completely ever go away, my anxiety. I'm going to have a guy that's going to have to understand that about me. He's going to have to be patient with me on that, The right guy will be, though. The wrong guy won't be, which is why, I won't be able to be with the wrong guy, because he'll just make me so anxious that I just physically can't be with him, because it'll just make me so ill. Do you know what I mean? Which is what I don't want. And also anxiety, like I said in a recent video, is there to protect us as well. So we do need it to a certain extent. I can see the benefits of anxiety as well, because I do writing. When you write, it's very good. Anxiety is very good for writing, actually. But writing actually calms me down, and makes me feel great. But yeah, it's really, really good that you're saying all this. I really appreciate you being here on my channel, and so do my other community here, like Andy and Sam and whoever else is watching. Thanks for the thumbs up, by the way. 5 thumbs up, so 5 kisses. She does arts and crafts. Yeah, that's what I would say, about the benefits of being in love with an asexual, loving an asexual. Asexuals tend to be very high in productivity, because we're not thinking about sex. We fill our life up with lots of projects, usually lots of interests and hobbies and doing other things, because we're not driven by sexual desire. We're not thinking about our private parts. We're thinking about how can we better our lives, how can we fill our time with stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's really good, and it makes the relationship a lot more interesting, makes it a lot more vibrant. There's a much more energetic dynamic to the relationship. So that's like huge benefits for being in a relationship with an asexual person. Then there's loads of them, excuse me, and they're not going to cheat on you. Well, there is something called emotional cheating, but in general, they're not likely to cheat on you, certainly not in a sexual way. Hi, Sarah. Oh, nice to have you here. Lots of love to you. So hey, this has been a joyous time here, and I will pop in on the next lives also. You're all very awesome. Oh, thank you, Eddy. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, my streams tend to go on for about an hour or 2 a lot of the time. But yeah, please do come back. We love having you on this channel, definitely. It's really, really insightful and helpful. Yeah, thanks for sharing your experiences. It's really, really good. We need more of this, you know. It's really important. I want this channel to grow. So I want, I want us to work along, asexuals and sexuals to work in harmony with each other and to understand each other better. Yeah, it does give us all hope. It really, really does, you know. My parents are like, my mum specifically, like, why are you interested in sexual guys? Like, why? I do get her point because, I really need an asexual guy, but it's just like, you know what I mean? There's going to be some people like yourself who can live without sex. I tried telling this to someone on Tumblr and they never replied back, but that is why I was nervous. Oh, Eddy, I'm so sorry. Well, you're welcome on this channel anytime. Yes, I mean, some people, because I've got previous experience of heterosexual relationships for half of my life. I'm cool with heterosexuals in general, talking to them, and do you know what I mean? And I want us to live in harmony together. I want more, I want more and more heterosexuals and sexuals in general to understand asexuality. They're not going to understand asexuality unless we speak about it to them. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got all the experience of being in heterosexual relationships, and coming from a more sexual background, that's, I guess, the benefit of me being here on this channel is I add something different to the mix. Well, you got a new pal right here. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. It's really good. Thank you so much. It's really kind of you, all of you. Yeah. Well, Andy and Sam are two of my, well, they are my two main best friends, asexual best friends. I do have a non-asexual best friend actually as well, who's female. So she's very much not asexual. So I have a sexual female best friend. So I do have sexual friends as well. And yeah, so it's really important, and unless asexuality can be more better known in the sexual community, then we're not going to make big leaps and bounds with it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want heterosexuals to be afraid of asexuality or not understand it or afraid of talking to someone about it. I do get quite a few people that aren't asexual, like Zareth, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Zareth is not asexual, but they're still interested in this channel and about asexuality, because I don't experience sexual attraction. I don't want sex. Do you know what I mean? But Zareth's still here, who's a new member of my channel, and we were messaging a lot over Christmas when I was with my parents actually, in comments, And so it's really important because I mean, like I said, I've got the Asexual Guide to Sex book coming up. It'll be published next year. And I think that every sexual person should get that book besides asexuals, to be perfectly honest, because it does give a very, very, very immense. I'm really proud of the book. That's why I can't stop smiling every time I mention it, despite the title, because it's Asexual Guide to Sex, asexual sex stories, sex advice, sex help, and sex guidance. And it'll be really suitable for any one who's a virgin as well, never had sex for the first time. But the whole book, the stories that asexuals are sharing are just incredible. They're insightful and they're so helpful, and you really get this total sense of what the difference between the asexual mindset and feelings surrounding sex is compared to the sexual. It's like nothing I've ever seen before in my life. Do you know what I mean? Not that I really go around reading sex books, but a lot of them are written by, like dating coaches and sex experts and all that type of thing, where I think coming from real people is much better. But it's really important that we do hear from more sexual people how it is for them as well. Do you know what I mean? Because we need to be able to get along well. And I'm really glad that you can see the benefits of asexual love that is purest. We don't gameplay usually. I'm not saying that every asexual is the same, but we don't gameplay. We don't play games with like sex and stuff like that. First thing I did when we got together was went on blogs and sites and read stories and such to help be a better boyfriend for her. First thing I did when we got together was I went on blogs and sites and read stories and such to help be a better boyfriend for her. Oh, that's really, really good. That's really, really good. I know someone came on my Asexualized channel, Asexualized blog, because I've got an asexualized.com blog. I've got a chat bubble on there and they messaged me through it. And I know they got this book because they were a lesbian, a homosexual, so a sexual lesbian, not an asexual lesbian, and their partner was a female asexual, and they wanted to know how to be better in the relationship, and they got this book to help them, and I was really happy about that. They messaged me in the chat bubble because they wanted to be a better partner as well. That was a female with a female, and that is such a great thing to do, Eddie. You know what I mean? That's why I want the Asexual Guide to Sex book to come out, because it will really help sexuals to completely understand asexuality and literally understand how our mind works. Because when we have sex, we don't think usually like normal sexual people do. We're more concerned with like thinking about other things. Like if we do something, you know, we're like, if we had sex, our mind will probably likely get distracted by other things because it's not really what we're into. Do you know what I mean? like even in this book, because this is like this talks about this talks about love, life, and sex. You know, even some people in this knowledge is important, said Eddie. And Andy, a book I can't wait to read. Yeah, Andy really wants a book and it's not out yet. I've got quite a few people that want a book, actually. I do know it'll be a really good book, the Asexual Guide to Sex book. It will be I just have to say, because I'm you know, I'm still working on it with the interviewees, but I cannot tell you I think it's going to be the best book on the market about sex. I honestly do. I can't help it. I just smile every time I think about the book, because I know there's nothing like it on the complete market or planet or universe. There'll be nothing like that book ever. And plus I had a publisher interested in it who didn't, you know, I publish it under my own imprint, but I had a publisher interested who decided they wouldn't publish it because they wanted to censor stuff, basically. And it's the nitty gritty, the good, the bad, and the ugly about sex. And Sam needs a book to add to their Sandra Bellamy collection, because my real name, like, rather than my AKA name, which is Asexualized, my actual author real name is Sandra Bellamy. So yeah, thank you, Sam. Yeah, so some sex repulsed asexuals might not want to read it, but I think it would really still help them to understand that they're not alone in their thoughts. Because although there's asexuals who have sex in the book, some of them, like you know, the experiences they had, a lot of asexuals will be able to relate to them. Like, you know, because they're kind of like, some asexuals are disassociated from the actual actors in it. Then they're more like practical, like, well, what do I actually do about this? You know, like, how do I go about it? What am I meant to do? So like Eddy says, you're trying to be a better boyfriend for her. Some asexuals, for example, in my Asexual Guide to Sex book, they want to be a better partner to the sexual person and then have sex, and they want to figure out what they're meant to do because they don't have a clue what they're meant to do, because it's not natural for them to do that. This is obviously not sex repulsed asexuals, because the sex repulsed asexuals don't tend to ever have sex at all. They don't want it, and if they did, it would be against their will and wouldn't be good. It would make them feel like they were being abused usually. There is a story in the beginning of this book which you can read for free without even buying the book, if you look in, do the look inside me feature on Amazon, because the book's so long. It's like 560 pages, it's something like that. 541, 500, so it's about nearly 550 pages nearly, right? So anyway, in the look inside me feature, because it's such a big book, it tells the first person, it tells my personal story and the other first person's in here personal story and Philippa's story. And in the book, you know, you do discover her through her story, which is quite dreadful, about the fact the guy wanted sex with her and was pushing her for it. So she was doing sexual things with him just to please him, which made her feel really bad about herself. And I think that's a really important thing that you've not done. You know, you've recognized that she's a sex repulsed asexual, that she doesn't want sex, and that you're doing everything you can to make her feel comfortable, which is what a loving partner should do. You know, that's what love should be about, you know, a loving partner who's into the person, not the physicality stuff, who really cherishes and loves the person, will do that. We'd never push her like that. That's good, Eddie. That's really good. Because at the end of the day, you know, even the people that have sex, you know, it might not always be that way. Their partner could have an accident and that prevents them from having sex anymore. You know, they could get a disability. They can't have sex. Life changes. Do you know what I mean? And so for the people who rely on sex to be a vital part of the relationship, you know, if that ever goes away, then it's quite sad that so would the relationship likely go away. Do you know what I mean? I even learned messages to help ease her stress. Oh, bless you. Oh, massages, not messages, massages. You learned massages to help ease her stress. That's really good. So does she like massage? Because some asexuals like to be touched and oh, words. I even learned massages to help ease her stress. Massages or messages? He. Words. Um, oh, do you mean massaging words as in soothing words? Massages, not messages. Yeah, so you learn massages to help ease her stress. Do you know that she likes to be touched in certain places? Because, like, not all some asexuals are touch averse. Some asexuals like to be touched in certain places, not in others. So obviously, make sure that you ask her that as well. That you've covered all that, before. I wouldn't assume that she'd like a massage. I would make sure she definitely. I presume you've asked her that already, but if you haven't, make sure you ask her it, because some asexuals don't like to be touched in certain parts of their body, for example. Do you know what I mean? So I would always ask before you assume that she wants that. I mean, maybe you've already asked her, but if you haven't, check that out. We agreed that if I come up, she will set boundaries. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Yeah. Because there's certain places I will be touched, and other places I personally don't like being touched. you know so I think it's really, really good that you said that to her. Really, really good. That'll help ease her anxiety as well, because I find it, the thing I find difficult about possibly being with a sexual guy is, that if the guy would want to take things further than I did, or start, like being really touchy in certain places I don't want, and it's kind of like, that's why it's difficult for me to be personally with a sexual guy. She doesn't like PDA, which again is fine also. Yeah, you see, I'm a massive PDA fan, public displays of affection. I absolutely am into that. So I'm very different. You see, this is why it's really important. Like, you've got to know over a long period of time, because we're all different as asexuals. Do you know what I mean? Every asexual is completely different. We're different in some of the things we like and don't like, especially in relationships. This is why it's hard to get another asexual even for a relationship, because a lot of the things that one asexual likes in a relationship, the other doesn't. I absolutely adore public displays of affection. I can't be in a relationship without it, because to me it'd be like being a caged animal. This is my personal thing, but a lot of asexuals probably wouldn't like public displays of affection. You know what I mean? There's quite a few I would suggest from my experience of talking to them that are not really into that. Do you know what I mean? But with me, I'm the opposite. I mean, I'm like a kissaholic. It takes work and understanding, exactly. But I'm really, really into kissing. So I'm actually better suited to a heterosexual guy in terms of kissing, because I absolutely adore it. But like, if a guy comes on too quickly and just wants me to do the physical stuff, then that puts me off him. Like the guy I met in the club, like lately I've given myself permission to kiss a guy in a club if I want to, if I feel comfortable enough. But the last guy, like, he liked my kissing so much that he was just like, when I was talking to him, it seemed that's all he wanted to meet up for, was me to kiss him. And it's like, I do have a personality, I do want to do other things and go out, not just kiss, even though I love kissing. This journey was amazing. I love her more and more. Oh, that's really nice. It's really good. I think asexuals have a lot to offer, because I think we can give insight into a completely different lifestyle, relationship scenario that, that the greater world doesn't usually understand or come across. I think it's a lot more deeper, a lot more meaningful, because we're, like I said, we're not focused on the physical stuff. So we've got to think of other things. We've got to fill our time with other things. You know what I mean? And it means that the person is getting a much more directly emotionally connected relationship than they would do usually if they're dating just another sexual person, or in a relationship with another sexual person. I mean, there's someone, because I'm in these sexual dating groups as well on Facebook, and there's someone who said about my picture, because I said I didn't want sex in a relationship. He's like, oh, don't want sex, how boring. And I'm thinking, actually, it's much better without sex. We have good conversations, and sometimes we watch movies together online. This is great, Eddie. This is wonderful. I know other asexuals who do that with other asexuals. So this is really, that's a very asexual thing to do together, I have to say. It's really good. It's really good. I mean, although you're not asexual, you know, people who aren't asexual, they can kind of adopt a more asexual type of relationship and lifestyle, if you know what I mean. I've got to be very careful what I say, because asexuals hate it when they're like, oh, I'll have an asexual life. Do you know what I mean? Live an asexual life, but you can't ever, you can't ever just make yourself asexual and change into an asexual. But you could have more of a lifestyle that was, not focused around sex. So that could be more of an asexual type of lifestyle in that respect. And it reminds me, because I've got a friend who's asexual, and they're engaged to their asexual fiance, and they used to, I think they see each other now in person, but they used to watch movies online together quite a lot. I try to be romantic, which she loves. Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. Yeah, I think if they're a romantic asexual, then the more romantic you are, the more they'll be drawn to you and feel close to you, I think. I'm a romantic asexual, but I'm into public displays of affection, like big time. But, I did learn from the previous guy, that I was messaging me, that I just, I do want more than just kissing, though. Even though I love kissing, you know what I mean? I get bored if that's all they wanted to do and didn't want any I get a bit put off if that's all they wanted to do and not spending time with the personality side of me. Do you know what I mean? It's very important. So it sounds like you've got such a good relationship. I'm really pleased for you both. It's very, very rare, but it does happen, and it's really good, My dad sometimes watches his channel. I hope he's watching tonight. Like, yeah, take notice, Dad. Tell Mum that some sexual guys can be in relationships with asexuals, funnily enough. Do you know what I mean? Oh, she says she's great asexual, pan-romantic demigirl. Wow. That's very interesting. So yeah, so she's grey asexual. Grey asexuality usually, by textbook definitions, means that she does experience sexual attraction in limited, rare, or specific circumstances, or she does experience it but not enough to want to act on it. So it's quite interesting. She's grey asexual and sex repulsed. And panromantic, you probably already know, means that she can be attracted to any gender. So she can be attracted to male, female, gender fluid, non-binary, trans. In theory, she can be attracted to any of them. Demigirl, I think that means that is she a demisexual girl, or does she mean that she's, when someone says they're demigirl, I always get confused as to whether they mean they're a demisexual girl or whether they mean they're a demi-romantic girl. But if they're pan-romantic, I would presume they'd be a demisexual, because a demi-romantic is someone who only experiences romantic attraction when a deep emotional bond has been formed. A demisexual is someone who experiences sexual attraction only when a deep emotional bond has been formed, and often a demisexual will want sex eventually in a relationship at some point, but not necessarily. So I don't know whether she means she's demi-romantic or whether she means she's demisexual. So I guess you might know that better than me. I drink water out of these mugs, by the way, if you wonder why I'm drinking, because I have to, because I actually lost my voice and had a respiratory infection a while ago, so I have to keep my voice hydrated all the time. But yeah, so that sounds really, really good. I'm glad you can see the benefits of being with a asexual person, that it's much more based on straight up truth, no game playing, pure love, lots of interesting conversations about hobbies and interests and shared things that you have in common, that we can be really romantic and really love that type of thing, because a lot of people, they don't understand, like, if you're asexual, why would you want to even be in a relationship? They think that, if you don't want sex, there is no relationship. And that's just absolutely ridiculous, like I said before, there are other people that don't have sex that can't even physically have it, not because they're asexual, but because they've, they might have been an accident, or they might be impotent, or they might have a disability that prevents them from having sex. That's how she once said, "I don't do sexting," and I said, "I'm too old for that stuff." Oh, bless you. Oh, that reminds me, I had a guy again through the sexual group, and he was like, just making rubbish up, I think. He was saying about he doesn't like sex, but he likes talking about it, which I think meant sexting. So I just told him I don't do that type of thing. I've never done, like, I was in heterosexual relationships for half of my life, right? Yeah, I never did sexting. I never got asked for nude photographs from any of my heterosexual exes. They wouldn't have even dreamed of doing that. And they were heterosexual. They weren't asexual. This is before I found out I was asexual. But do you know what I mean? I'm trying to find out if that guy is still on. Oh, here he is. But this guy was good because he didn't pretend he was asexual, but he said he was interested in it. So he said, "Hi, Sandra. I'm blah, blah. Nice to meet you." I wonder if he was on my channel, actually, because his first name is someone that's was on my channel the other day. So lovely to meet you. How was your Christmas? Yes, they spent time with their family. So, right. He looked a lot older than he was, and he didn't look like he was 25 years old. But I asked him for proof, and he did actually prove that he was 25 years old. So that was interesting. Oh, yeah, he did come on my channel. That's right. Because I've got his surname now. So, yeah, this guy actually came on my channel, bless him, in a live chat. So he wasn't lying about the fact he was interested in knowing a bit more. He did actually come on. So that was nice of him. So I recognise I wasn't sure of his surname, but yeah. And he was all about, there you go, I don't lie. So this guy gave me his actual driver's license of proof, which was great. But he does look about 42 plus. He's 25. My mum didn't believe him, but he sent me his ID, so I know it's true. So I said, "Oh yeah, thank you. So many scammers in that singles group, and I'm an open book, so looking for guys the same. But I am a hetero asexual, not heterosexual. So not into having sex at all. I love kissing, but not sex ever." And he said, "Oh, I see. I'm quite the opposite." And then he put, yeah. I said, we wouldn't be suitable. And he said, "I don't like having sex, as in meeting up. I just like talking about it, if you get what I mean." So I said, "I'm not interested in talking about it. I don't do sexting or anything like that. Not interested in that type of relationship." And then he said, "I understand and respect that. It was lovely to meet you, by the way. Good luck on your search." So he didn't bullshit me around, this guy. Do you know what I mean? He was actually being honest. And so he said, "I understand and respect that. It was lovely to meet you, by the way. Good luck on your search." And then he said, I'd give you a kiss if I could, laugh out loud. So I said, "Thank you, join the queue." Because it's true, isn't it? I mean, I always get sexual guys after me wanting to kiss me and whatever they want to do to me. So I was just like, "Thanks, join the queue." And then he starts going, "Are you okay with hickeys on the neck?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." Or, "Just kidding, kissing. I'm just fascinated in this. I'm going to read up on it." It's like, I'm not into that. I just give hugs to pals. Oh, bless you, Eddie. Well, I don't cuddle my friends. I'll give them a low. I'll give them a low hug and a goodbye hug, but I won't hug for intense periods. Like, I won't cuddle my friends, if you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, this guy says it because I told him I hate biting. Biting to me is not kissing and not nice. I don't want love bites. Asexuality is a sexual orientation that is the lack of a sexual attraction. I don't get the need, urge, or want for partner sexual intercourse. I'm not interested in a guy from the waist down. I don't want to see him naked. I have no interest in that. And then he's like, "It's interesting. I'm going to read up on it." But then I did give him my channel. And he did make an appearance actually in chat. I remember. He said hello quickly, which was nice. At least he's bothering. Do you know what I mean? That's partly why I want to be in the sexual dating groups, because I want to spread awareness of asexuality. There's so many people that see my post. It must be so annoying to all the sexual people in there because my post comes up more than anyone's in the UK singles group. because people keep commenting on it, you see, because it's unusual to find someone who doesn't want sex in such a group. So it keeps going to the top. And I think mine must be like one of the ultimate most popular posts they've ever had in there. And so people just keep commenting on it and seeing it. Some of it's negative comments, obviously, and some of it's okay. So I still get, like, I've got, like, what is it? Is it another 7 people who are, or 8 people who are foreign? You know, most of them don't live in this country, wanting visas as usual. And not they say they want visas, but you know what it is. I had one a few weeks ago. Those, oh, I want to get into the country. You know, I want a visa. He was blatant about it. I'm like, oh, no thanks. But anyway, he did say, "I'll take a watch." This guy, and he did look. So this one was this one was a nice guy in the sense he didn't lie. I said, "Oh, thank you, thanks for your interest." He goes, "You're welcome. Obviously, I'm always going to be sexual, but it's always good to explore and learn about new things." And then I said, "Thanks for your honesty. I appreciate you wanting to know more, and I wish you good luck with finding a suitable sexual girl for you who enjoys having sex." That's what I said to him. So, you know, not everyone who's, you know, like, obviously Eddy's not horrible, but not every sexual person is dishonest. You know, he was honest with me. But you know, a lot of them are they just talk rubbish. They just lie, unfortunately, in that specific group particularly. But yeah, we really should be you know, talking to more sexuals about asexuality. So I'm sorry you had that experience on Tumblr. I'm not part of Tumblr. I'm not on Reddit. You know what I mean? I do so much social media stuff. I can't be on everything. So I do this YouTube show, my asexual Facebook page, my asexual groups on Facebook. I got 5 of them. Oh, 3 asexual Facebook pages. This channel I'm on every night usually. Apart from, like, when, you know, like New Year, I'm over my parents. I can't live stream then. I usually try and do a video if I can, but I won't be able to live stream them. Because my channel hasn't got over 1,000 subscribers yet. I really want it to go over 1,000, so then I can actually, you know, start being able to do live streaming again on my actual channel from my phone rather than, you know, desktop. That's what I mean. Can't live. So if I'm at my parents, I can't live stream because I haven't got the facility. You know, I haven't got my desktop with me, and my desktop's huge. I can't cart that to my parents. I don't have a laptop, and you can't do it from phone or iPad. I tried to download a piece of software, it didn't work. So just an app to see if I could do it, but it didn't work. But I take care of my needs, and she hates hers but handles it. We don't bug each other about it. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, like, some asexuals do masturbate. Some of them, like, masturbate just to, like, get rid of their libido, like their sex drive, or get rid of their arousal feelings. So if she's a great asexual, you know, she, like I said, she probably does experience sexual attraction under limited, rare, or specific circumstances, or not enough to want to act on it. So she probably is much more likely to have a higher libido or sex drive or arousal type of feelings. I'm not saying every asexual does on that end, but more than likely. And, you know, with asexuals, a lot of us want to take care of that ourselves and not have another person involved with it. But that's not the same for everyone, you know. But you know, it's kind of like asexuals will do that out of a sense of got to get it over and done with often, but not necessarily. Some asexuals enjoy masturbation. Some asexuals do it to help them go to sleep. Some do it just to relieve their arousal situation. Or some, you know, I personally, like, I have higher levels of arousal a lot of the time. Well, I did. I think I'm getting less lately. Says it causes her pain and we can't find out why. Well, I'm going to be very, very personal now, but it can cause me pain. You do it for sleep. So, basically, with a female, I'm going to be very personal here, but I'm very personal on this channel anyway, as you probably find out if you haven't already watched loads of my videos. So with an asexual, well, with a female person, a female in general, whether asexual, sexual, you can get some females with sensitive clitorises. I'm being very, very personal about women's bodies here. An oversensitive clitoris, which means if they touch that part, can actually make them feel ill and sick, and it can make them feel like they can't touch it. It just makes them too ill. So they have to use like circular motions going around it and lots of other stuff. I've read up about it. So, you know, they have to do circular motions going around the clitoris or look for other spots, like, is it the O spot, the G spot? Oh, yeah, exactly. Like some women can have oversensitive clitorises. But other people can have different problems. We thought it might be her meds. Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't know her, so I don't know what it could be. I mean, I have fibromyalgia, which is a chronic pain condition that affects the nerves and muscles of the body. So for me, doing anything like to that particular area for me is one of the worst areas, being very, very personal. I mean, I talk about this in I've got my fibro. Oh yeah, I have a book. I have this book out as well. I tell a lot of my personal stuff in my book, so I don't talk about oversensitive. Do I mention oversensitive clitorises? I can't remember if I do, but I talk about fibromyalgia and sex in this book and introduce asexuality in it. This book isn't aimed at asexuals, but it's a lot of asexuals buy it because it's great for helping with anxiety, decreasing anxiety and overcoming depression and feeling happier and more energetic in your life. It's a lot of mindset stuff and techniques for, actually she might benefit from it because it's lowering your anxiety. It's a really good book, actually, and it's an autobiographical book. And I'm known as Ace Fibro Girl because I'm asexual. Ace is short for asexual, in case you didn't already know that. Should have all the books on display behind you. I do an Asexual Perspectives Awareness Month every July, which is this. But I talk about this book every time I do a live stream. I talk about this book at the beginning. This is my new one that came out in October, which I do mention. Yeah, I haven't really got any shelf to put them on. Sometimes I occasionally stand them up behind me on my bed. This says not for sale because it's my author copy, so you don't have that across it when it comes. But yeah, so that came out this year. It's really, really good book, actually. Really, really good book. Andy and Sam in the chat have this book. They've done reviews on Amazon UK for these books, both of them. So yeah, I should have the books on display behind me, but it's like an invisible shelf here. But yeah, so yeah, in terms of, we may as well discuss this anyway. Yeah, but so in terms of pain, like when I used to have sex, sometimes it did used to cause me pain when I actually had full sexual intercourse. But I found you need to be really wet. Yeah, great book, says Sam. Oh, so obviously if she suffers anxiety can make that area more painful, more tense. So if someone's masturbating themselves and they've got anxiety, they might think it's going to relieve their anxiety, but particularly for a woman, if she's anxious and that place down below, the vagina area, can be very dry. And so if it's very dry, it's like rubbing your finger. Actually, I think I talk about that in here. Yeah, I do talk about stuff like that in this. But if a woman's not wet, right? Thank you, Andy. Awesome books. Yeah, they've got both of these books. Yeah, I do mention it in here because I talk about fibromyalgia and sex, and I talk about pain and stuff like that. So I remember I do talk about that in here, about the fact that, you know, if you're dry, it's not good, because, you know what I mean, for asexuals, like, for example, I get anxiety anyway, but in the past when I was having sexual intercourse, if I was anxious about having sex, it would make it worse for me and the pain would be worse. And with a woman, she has to be very, very wet to actually really enjoy the experience of having sex from a even practical point of view, because unless she's wet, it's like rubbing your hand up against something that's really, really like hard. Do you know what I mean? It's not good. Do you know what I mean? It's trying to stretch something that hasn't got much lubrication. It's just like pushing against something really, really hard. It's a bit like you know, when I'm going to use a really weird analogy here. You know, when a dog is pulling like on one of those pulley things, those rubber pulley things, it's a bit like that. You know, it's like friction. It's like, you know, they're trying to do something that's going up against their body. So if it's like if a guy goes into a woman, sandpaper, yeah. If there's a penis going into a vagina and the vagina isn't lubricated, it's like the penis is trying to drill a hole in something that, you know, that isn't really designed to have a hole drilled in it, if you know what I mean. It's like it's hitting something hard. So if something's soft, like the vagina tends to be quite a soft area, and it's having something hard in it, it's going to be very, very painful. And so if a woman tries to masturbate herself when she's very anxious, if she's very dry, she has to try and make herself very wet first before she can actually enjoy it. All these naughty words, my poor ears. Oh, sorry. I'm not, yeah, I'm very blunt and open and honest. So I don't think about them being naughty words because I educate people about asexuality and sex. Like I have to laugh though. It's quite ironic that I'm a sex educator really on this channel. I jest. It's no problem. It's quite funny though. It is quite fun. I never used to be able to talk about sex and this stuff years ago. Before I found out asexual in 2014, that's when I found out about it. I couldn't talk about sex stuff. I didn't talk about it with any friends. The only person I talked about it with my partner at the time, years ago. 2011 was the last time I had sex, just for your information. But yeah, so you know, I just end up talking about it very bluntly, very educational wise, and just come out with it. But it's really important to know these things because some females don't know this stuff. And if a guy is watching this channel thinking about getting with an asexual, some asexuals, despite the fact they don't want sexual intercourse, some may want mutual masturbation. Do you know what I mean? So a guy or want to be masturbated, or you know, like I like to say the words mutual masturbation or be masturbated. There's like other words for it. I prefer to use those language. But you know what I mean? So if a guy's gonna do that for a woman, he needs to know that she needs to be really, really wet because it ain't gonna be nice for her. It's gonna be blimmin' horrible for her. It's just the way the private parts of a woman work. Like I said, there are, you know, if she suffers anxiety, that could be why, because she could be anxious. Even though she might want to relieve the arousal, she might not like touching herself. So personally for me, I used to get really feeling sick about doing that. I never used to do that till I found out I was asexual. I never tried it. And then it used to make me feel very sick doing that because it's like I don't personally in my head really want to touch myself. To me, it feels kind of like weird and not quite right. I mean, I've got, you know, like, I got kind of used to it. It can get a bit addictive, but then lately I've just been like, I don't really want to be doing that. It's not, you know, because it can hurt me, being in all honesty. Like, I'm just telling people on this channel now, it can, like, masturbation can hurt me. So she's not the only one that can happen to. And, you know, and I don't know if it's because I got fibromyalgia, you know, because it can hurt if you've got fibromyalgia, anything in that area. That's my worst affected area, really, but the whole legs and that pelvis area. And it can hurt my stomach. I can get really bad stomach ache. Mine hates the smell of sperm. I think we spoke of that. Oh, she hates the smell of sperm. Oh, right. I didn't know it smelt really. I have tasted it. It's gross and disgusting and I wouldn't want that in my mouth again. But I haven't really thought it has a smell. So you've educated me there. I didn't really think sperm had a smell. I know this is going to get really, really. If there's any asexuals watching this, the sex repulsed, I have to apologise right now because it's going to get a bit more gross. So you can go and have a sick bucket if you want, and I do apologise. Depends. I mean, sometime bleach. I don't know about the smell of sperm. If I'm honest, I don't remember it smelling. I remember the cheesy stuff guys get around their penis, if I'm being absolutely honest. And I think that can be weird. Depends on diet, I hear. Oh, right. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I've never known of sperm to smell. And I've been with a few guys. Gonna go grab a couple. Yeah, Sam, go and grab a couple. Sam's my best friend who's sex repulsed. And they're like, oh my God. Yeah, go and grab a cup of salmon. Try not to throw up in it. I do apologise. Because sex repulsed asexuals a lot of them will hate this conversation. Yeah, it'll gross them out. They'll want to have a sick bucket. Do you know what I mean? It's like some asexuals aren't romantic. So if I talk about romantic stuff, they'll want the sick bucket because it'll be disgusting to them. So yeah, it does get kind of disgusting but I mean I do speak about all things across the asexual spectrum on this channel. I'm not specifically just for sex repulsed asexuals, even though I'm personally sex repulsed for me. I don't have a problem talking about it. I have no problem with talking about sex for other people or, you know, talking about that type of thing. It's just, to me, it's just kind of like, I guess it can get to a stage where I get a bit after a while, but it depends what it is. Do you know what I mean? And how far it goes, I guess. So if I, you know, if I need to stop, I say stop usually, but most of the time I'm okay. But one of my best friends, she's got a highly sexual friend, and that just got too much for me, the conversation after a while. But yeah, so, you know, I don't know about smell of sperm, but if she's smelt sperm before and she hates the smell of it, then obviously she must know. But I didn't know sperm smelt. I know the cheesy stuff guys can get around their penis. I think that might smell. But, you know, like a female can smell if they've been to the toilet in that area. Do you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? It's like, kind of, some people like the smell of each other in intense, intimate situations. They just accept the body smells, and other people can't stand it. But I didn't know that diet affected the smell of sperm. I didn't actually know that. So you have educated me. I never knew that. But yeah, I never knew there was a smell to it. There's a horrible taste to it. I know that because I've tasted it in my mouth and it's disgusting. I had to spit it out. I couldn't ever swallow that stuff. Ugh. But that's why I don't really want sex ever again. I don't really want oral sex. You know, I don't really want to do that for a guy ever again. It just really, really makes me feel sick. Do you know what I mean? Like, really makes me feel sick, personally. I don't really want to touch his penis anymore either. I'm happy to lick, kiss, and suck his nipples, but that's just me. A lot of people aren't even comfortable with that. But I don't, you know, I'm happy with his upper body, but I don't want to be touching his lower body. It just doesn't do anything for me. I don't actually like the look of the male anatomy either. So some asexuals are like that. They don't like looking at the female anatomy, or they don't like looking at the male anatomy. Do you know what I mean? So, poor Sam. Sorry, Sam. I feel so sorry for Sam. But yeah, so I think it's, you know, it's up to independent people. Like I said, every asexual person's different. You know, we've all got different experiences. I'm sorry that she finds masturbation is hurts her, but I do understand that because it can hurt me, being absolutely honest, which is why I tend to not do much of it lately, if I can help it. I was open about my other relationships with her because she was feeling like she wasn't being a 50-50 partner in this, and I told her some stories. That's really important. Yeah, it's important that that the asexual understands if the person's got a sexual past, you know, because you can't change your past, just like they can't change their past. You know what I mean? I guess for me, like, if I've got a sexual person talking about a past, I guess for me personally, if the sexual person going, oh yeah, I used to love sex, it was amazing, it was great, then I kind of might feel, oh well, I can't satisfy you then in this relationship without sex because you love that relationship so much, that type of thing. So I think, oh, the horror stories, oh right, that's probably really helpful to her then. I was going to say, you know, I've had guys before saying they can live without sex, and then they go, oh, but I used to love sex and it was amazing. And I'm like, really? You know, I don't want to be with someone who's that into sex, and the way they talk about it is still like they're so into it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, if that into it, don't be with me then. But yeah, the horror stories. Well, there's some stories in my Asexual Guide to Sex book that are the good, they're the good, the bad, and the ugly stories. So so yeah, you know, like the publisher that was interested in publishing it, who's not going to be doing that, they wanted me to censor that type of thing out. I started sex when I was 30, did it 4 times and stopped. Oh right, that's interesting. I was really young when I was 16 years old when I first had sex. I was talked into it, pressurized into it actually, by my older boyfriend at the time. He was like 3 or 4 years older than me. And I had a guy trying to have sex against my will when I was 15 years old. He didn't succeed though, luckily, because the next girl after that he made pregnant, which is awful. So yeah, it was basically attempted rape, but I didn't think about it at the time. Back, no need to apologise, but thank you. Important discussions must be had. Oh, thank you, Sam. Yeah, but it's, welcome back, pal. Yeah, so Yeah, I mean, I mean, I've had sex before, but I much prefer a life without sex, even though I'm asexual. And, I've done that in the past, and it's like when I did it, I thought the most I'd actually think about wanting to do it would be once every 3 months, like 4 times a year. But even that seemed a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, as I didn't think it didn't really do anything. And in terms of the female body as well, being really blunt as well, is a lot of the time, a majority of women, sex doesn't actually hit the spot of making a woman really aroused and orgasm. It just doesn't do it. It's kind of like you're hitting something that you're missing all the time for the woman, not for the guy, but for the woman. So I just used to like the kissing and the touching. I liked being touched by the guy at the time, but but I wasn't, like into sexual intercourse. It just wasn't my thing. I got far much more pleasure out of kissing. Do you know what I mean? But now I'm naked repulsed. I mean, I've always been naked repulsed, really, but I don't like being naked in front of a guy usually. I don't like doing that at all. You know what I mean? It's like it's my body. Go away. um, but yeah, so I've had sex 5 times, Eddie. So I've had it more than not 5 times. Sorry, more than 5 times. I've had it with 5 different people, but more than 5 times. You've only had it 4 times. That's really interesting. So yeah, I've had sex more than you. Not that it's a competition, but I'm just saying it's quite weird, isn't it, for an asexual person to say that? But yeah, no, I've had sex with 5 different guys total in my life. They were all my boyfriend at the time. I never had sex outside of a relationship before. And yeah, I was in a long-term relationship for 8.5 years, so we did that quite a bit. Like, one thing I have to say that's totally untrue in my experience is when they say a guy can't get it up again and have sex straight afterwards. That wasn't true. Like, because I was like risking pregnancy anyway, and that was my worst nightmare, and I was on the pill, right? With my heterosexual ex at the time, like we'd go for 2 months sometimes without having any sex, which was great for me. But because I didn't want that and I'd rather do without it. Oh, hi Salem. Nice to see you. And so I've forgotten what I was gonna say now. I've forgotten what I was gonna say. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, about doing it a lot. But sometimes, like, just to get out of the way with my ex, as I was kind of risking pregnancy anyway, we used to do it 3 times in a row because I was just like, get it out of the way. Do you know what I mean? And so when they say a guy can't get it up again to have sex straight away, that wasn't true with my ex, that particular ex. My drive declined, low testosterone, and well, it happens at this age, and soon it will just end. That's very interesting you say that, Eddie, because in the sexual dating groups I'm in on Facebook, there are guys that are much older than you. There's guys in their 40s that are older than you, and there's guys in their 50s, and they're very sexual. Very sexual. So the fact you're 42, yeah, it might be true for you that it's happened, but it's not true for a lot of sexual guys. There's loads in that sexual dating group. That sexual dating group has got tons of sexual guys in it. Seriously, they're on heat. They're like looking for a woman to have sex with them all the time. I mean, do you know what I mean? And they're older guys, the ones that wouldn't interest me at all because I'm not interested in older guys. So yeah, I'm very good, thank you, Salem. We're having an interesting discussion here. But yeah, I think the majority of them are over 45 in that group. How many people are in this group? There's tons of them. This is a group that isn't an asexual group. Let's see. I'm trying to. I got your message up here. I did reply to. Oh no, I'm replying to it now. I've already said there's my stream on here. Where am I? There's I don't know how many people are actually in the group. I'm trying to find out. Oh, where is it? There's like so many people in that group who are not, the group that's not asexual. Oh, here it is. So this is my profile in the sexual dating group. This is the UK singles group, which is not asexuals, it's for sexuals. See? And then it's got so many people, like so many, look, it's got 59. 59. See what I mean? It's got 59 reactions to it of one thing or the other. It's got like so many people, but like I mean some guys can lose their I adapted to my relationship, I don't know. I think if it ends with her, I won't pursue another and just return to the sexual demon. I don't know. I hope we last because I want to grow old with her and I want to marry her. I adapted to my relationship, I don't know. I think if it ends with her, I won't pursue another and just return to that sexual demon. I don't know. I hope we last because I want to grow old with her and I want to marry her. I hope you last as well. You know, some people though, they do lose in. You are absolutely right. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, some people they do. Some people like do have low you know, hormones, you know, low testosterone, so they don't feel the sexual urge like they used to. And some of them, like some people like with age, do not have so much sexual appetite. Do you know what I mean? You're not, you know, you are right when you say that, but there's still a heck of a lot that don't. And yeah, this group has got over 8,000 members in it. A lot of which are abroad, though. Even though they say UK singles, this is a dating group that isn't asexual. Just so, because there is an asexuality singles group as well. But yeah, so there's just tons of people in there. It's a shame you can't search for them by age and find out how old they all are. But do you know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, there's so many people. I mean, this woman's 41. I mean, a lot of them give their age out. I don't. But I mean, a lot of them are just so sexual. It's just really off-putting. Really off-putting. I think the females, like, there are some guys that are in their 20s. But, you know, it's just like a lot of it's just disgusting. He's 34. He's a guy. But there are some in their 20s. But, you know, it's just like, ugh. I hate looking in here because a lot of the guys have got like no tops on and they're just like so into showing their boobs on here as well. It kind of makes me feel sick. There are quite a few guys in their 20s on here actually, but there's quite a lot of older guys as well. Oh god. I just makes me feel sick after a while looking at that. I wish you all the best for your future together. Yeah, I do, Eddie. I want her, you know, you and her to work out. So I hope in September when I see her, we can see how we function in real life. And if that goes well, I hope she asks me to marry her because I said I wanted her to ring me. Oh, bless. See, some asexuals like marriage and some don't. I don't personally like marriage, but some asexuals do. You know, and you've been together for a long time. I think you have to see how it goes in real life quite over a period of time. And one of you obviously have to move to the other person. I don't know how close you live near each other. But you know, I hope it goes well. I hope it goes really, really well for you. Do you know what I mean? It's really important, you know, and especially if she's changed your life that much and you see all the beauty of life without the sex. It's really important, you know. Because that's, you know, I do believe asexuality is the purest form of love you can get. I mean, there is a guy who I'm friends with who goes to my meetups who's 58 years old, who's asexual, and his fiance is 23 and asexual. And he, like, and her, there's obviously an age gap of 35 and a bit years because she was 22 when he proposed to her. So they've got an age gap of about 35 years between them, but they love each other so much. They're both asexual. He's been in sexual relationships in the past. He's been married previously and had children previously. So I think his children are older than his fiance, but they get on so well. They're so in love. And he's always saying and agreeing that, asexuality, asexual love is the very purest form of love. Because they're not trying to get in each other's knickers, as he says, get in each other's pants. And I think that's the difference, it's hugely different. Many states away, I said I would move to her town because she needs her support structure and parents, and I won't take that from her. That's really good. It's really good you're prepared to move, Eddy. I wish more guys were like you. I really do, because I need someone who'll move to live near me. It's really, really good. It's really good. Yeah, it's important that I do think I'm going to be like a bit stereotypically gender specific now. So I'm stereotyping here. So apologies for all the people that are gender non-conformists and don't agree with gender conformity or anything like that, or stereotypes. I do apologize for what I'm about to say, but I think in terms of like, particularly with females, I think a lot of the time they do need to be more near their parents, maybe near their mother and stuff, and they do tend to need more of kind of like to be with their parents, their family more, in my experience, life overall experience. And to take a woman away from her family, or unless she really hates her family, obviously, it's just not very good, because it can make her feel destabilized and insecure. And I think it's kind of the gentlemanly thing to do as well. Like, I'm a bit old-fashioned in that one way. I think it's more of a gentlemanly thing to do, to move towards where she lives, near where she lives, because then she's still got a complete security around her, and if anything did happen, then obviously she knows that you've got her best interests at heart, and that hopefully it'll work. But if it doesn't, she's still got a security there. Do you know what I mean? I think it's very important. When I was younger and in high school, this girl I fancied told me she wanted a boyfriend like me, but I asked her out the next day, and I got that not ruining friendship excuse. Laugh out loud. Oh, that's just bullshit, isn't it, Eddy? Well, she'll miss out now. That's what I think. Some people, they just don't take chances. Do you know what I mean? In life. And and if you asked her, if you made your feel, if she said she really likes it, if she said she'd really like a boyfriend like you, but then she's turning you down, either she just meant it in theory but not in practice, of you being a really nice guy, or it's her loss, isn't it? That's what you have to think. You move on from these people, don't you? It's their loss at the end of the day. Sam, I would happily move if I met the right person. I know you would, Sam. Sam's predominantly into guys, or women that look like guys. So yeah, non-binary. So yeah, Sam would happily move for the right person. It's good. I haven't found a guy who would want to move to live near me yet, but I'm hopeful one day that will happen. Because it's really important to me. I do love living in my flat here. I really love it. Yeah, thank you. Eddy wishes Sam the best. Yeah, Sam's a really, really, really good person. Really good person. Best friend of mine. Absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing person. Very, very kind-hearted. Very, very upfront. Very, very honest. Very, very good person. Me and Sam get on very well. But like I said, Sam's into guys, not female like me. So romantic wise, because we're both romantic asexuals as it happens. Hugs and or a handshake for you. Yeah. And also Sam's not into kissing like I am. That's why I was saying about different asexuals. Like, I'm really into kissing. But having my recent experience of dating, I do love kissing, but I kind of need more than just kissing in a relationship. I can't just be doing kissing all the time, even though I say I love it, because it's like, I do want to go out with a guy and have dates with him, like to the cinema and for food and to chat and to walk and to, do things in between kissing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the guy to really love my personality. Do you know what I mean? I can't be like, it's going to put me off him if all he wants me to do is kiss him. It just like, it's too physical all the time. Do you know what I mean? So I know I've been saying on this channel for a very long time that I'm into kissing. I really do love kissing, but I kind of like a guy to love my personality first and foremost before anything. and enjoy some kissing and then later on kiss more. But you know what I mean? It's a bit intimidating when you've got someone who's just so into kissing. Gotta get that balance right. Yeah. I mean, I say that I like kissing for 1, 2, or 3 hours at a time. So that kind of isn't very balanced, is it? But you know what I mean? It's kind of like when I first just meet a guy, like I do like snogging for long periods of time. Like recently, like the guy I was kissing in the club recently, that was quite a long period of time. Then I did kiss an Indian guy. He was like kissing me for about an hour, non-stop nearly. He hardly came up for breath, but it's good for me to have these experiences. It's kind of like I'm experiencing like life's a reflection of yourself a lot of the time, right? This is talking spiritually quite a bit now. And you know, you have the geez, like a kissing vacuum. That's really funny, like a kissing vacuum. But you see, life is a reflection of yourself, right? And you get put into different situations to test you and to learn from, right? So lately, I've given myself permission to kiss a guy outside a relationship, and so far, since I gave myself that permission, the very first night I gave it to myself, twice. I'm round all week. Oh, so twice, yeah, twice since I agreed that with myself, I've kissed a foreign guy twice because I'm into foreign guys, particularly with coloured skin. And so far, I've kissed a dream guy. Well, it's my dream to kiss an Indian guy. So that was the one who was kissing me for over an hour. He was really into snogging me. Like, he couldn't stop snogging me. Even I thought, my God, have I found someone who snogs more than I do? It's weird. And then there was the other guy who's from Bangladesh, the last guy. So it's very, very interesting because life gives you lots of experiences on purpose to teach you something. So even if things don't ever work out the way you want them to, I'm not saying they're not with you. I want them to work out with you, Eddy, and the asexual girl. I really do, because you sound really good for her, and she sounds great for you. But you know, everything in life teaches us an experience, and the reason I'm going to this club is I feel really good there. It's one with my soul. I love being around younger foreign guys. I believe if there is a guy in Exeter for me, in my city, he will be at that club. I used to love Indian girls. My first love was Pakistani. Oh my Lord. See what I mean? So many coincidences in life. That is really funny, Eddy. See what I mean about coincidences and things happening for a reason and everything like pops up. And there's so many coincidences. That is really, really unusual. Really, really unusual. Yeah. Well, my top attraction's Indian guys. My second is Bangladesh, and my third's Middle Eastern. So far I've kissed an Indian guy. I've kissed a Pakistani guy. Next one should be a Middle Eastern, shouldn't it? But I don't know. All I saw was the back of her head in art class. Oh, bless you. Bless you. But well, I say I never kissed an Indian guy, but then I did actually remember there was one guy who kissed me that was Indian, but he didn't really kiss me. He was biting, and I don't call that kissing, so I forgot all about that. He tried to kiss me, but instead of trying to kiss me, he bit, he's biting my lip. I'm like, that's not kissing. And eventually put his drink down and walked off in a huff. Because he's going, there was girls down on the, like, girls further down. So if you want to go dancing with those girls, go dancing with the girls. I said, I don't care. I'm not going back to your place. I'm not interested in sex. I already told you. And I said about, is that with the kissing, is that the best you can do? That it's not kissing. And he went off in a huff. So I didn't really, I used to love biting. I was into vampire stuff. Oh, I hate biting. The Indian guy, actually, the one that was kissing me for an hour, he was trying to give me a love bite. And I was saying, I like gentle kissing. Like, I do like super passionate tongue kissing, but I don't want a guy's teeth in my neck. Do you know what I mean? My ex used to try and give me love bites. I don't like being bitten. I'm a gentle girl. I don't want someone's lips sucking my face, like, neck, and making a bruise. Do you know what I mean? I don't like being bruised. It's like, stop it. So yeah, I hate that type of thing. I don't, I understand the kind of sentiment. Raw blood. Ah, ugh, ugh, yuck. So shivers down my spine. So I can't stand that type of stuff. Ugh, ugh, ugh. I do have a phobia of needles and blood. I don't know if you know that. So it's not very good to have blood with me. I really start feeling ill and dizzy and sick. It's not good. But yeah, so I'm not into that type of thing at all. So but it's interesting because what we ask for, we get. So, I'm having these experiences now to see if I really do like this much kissing. This is what part of this is about, find out if I did a video recently about, do we really want what we think we want? Do you know what I mean? And when you get handed to the thing you want, do you really want it? When I was 7, it took 9 nurses to hold me down to draw blood. I guess you don't like it either then. It's horrible. Oh, makes me feel yuck. I nearly pass out, so I better be careful and stop talking about it, I think. But yeah, it's kicked one in the face. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Oh dear. Yes, that sounds a bit aggressive and violent to me. Like, I don't like it, but I don't think I would be doing that to someone. But yeah, I don't know why they were taking what was mine. I don't know why you were being held down though, because at the end of the day, like, I had to have a blood test this year. I had to have a blood test this year for the first time in years, and the nurse said we cannot do it if it's against your consent. We have to have your consent. We have to have you agreeing to it. We can't actually physically take it, even though my mum was with me and wanted me to have it done. She goes, unless you're the patient, unless you want it done, we can't have it. You can't have it done because you have to be consensual. Because otherwise, it's forcing you against your will, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So, which isn't good. It isn't good at all. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, everything in life's an experience. Do you know what I mean? Everything's meant to teach us something in life. But I think, like, I've had to get used to the bloody things at least twice a year. I have to have them. Oh yeah, Sam, you have to have them for meds, don't you? I was very brave this year and did actually have a blood test. I haven't had for years, and it was all clear, thank God. I'm like, I'm not having another one of them for years again. Thanks very much. Oh, it was so. Yeah, I was not in a good way with that. It made me really, really ill having that done. Really ill, but because of the anxiety it causes me, really, really, really immense anxiety. But it's really important that you understand that everything teaches you a lesson in life. Like at the moment, obviously, when I'm going to the club and I'm experiencing what it's like to be on the receiving end of a guy who loves kissing loads, it's quite interesting to observe what I'm feeling. Like, I'm feeling a bit like it's a bit full on sometimes, not because I don't like kissing, but because I want a guy to for my personality first and foremost. Do you know what I mean? And I do want to spend some time doing other stuff with him, because otherwise I kind of feel like he's using me for physical stuff. But he probably is, because he's sexual. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of getting a sexual thrill out of it. It's not like clean cut. Like, if I was kissing an asexual guy, it would be better, because then I would know that he didn't want sex with me. So he's not just using me for that type of thing. But then again, I guess you could still be used for your lips. My love, she does not talk to me on the days of her cycle to spare me from her mood at the time. That's interesting. But the thing is that if you do live together, she's not going to be able to not speak to you, is she? Do you know what I mean? For that time. So I think you should encourage her, personally, I think you should be encouraging her to talk to you. And just because she's on a cycle doesn't mean to say she's going to be moody. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a very bad thing for stereotypically guys to think, that a woman's just, it does affect your hormones if you're on the time of the month. It can do. It can give you an excruciating pain, which, if anyone's in excruciating pain, they're not going to be happy. Yeah, but you're going to have to love her for who she is. And if she's moody, you're going to have to love her for her moods. It was her idea. Yeah. Well, I don't know how that's going to work out in real life if you're going to get married and live together, theoretically, because you can't just not speak for a week. Do you know what I mean? And even if it was her idea, I would still, well, you have to accept her idea, as in the sense you have to respect her. But I think you have to, like any guy who's going to be with a woman who has a time of the month has to get used to it, don't they? To be quite frank with you, has to be understanding. Do you know what I mean? It's just like if a guy was having that type, I don't know, but got to cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, maybe she'll feel more comfortable then at a later date. But like I used to get really bad pain with it. You know what I mean? I can still get bad pain with it. I have to take painkillers. Some women are like that. They have really bad pain there. You don't really feel like doing much or anything, but because I can still do that. Because I don't want kids, I look forward to the day when I can't have periods anymore. You know what I mean? I don't want children. So whereas loads of women like, oh, I'm quite happy to have my periods. I'm like, no, I don't want kids. So I'm quite happy for when I don't have that. Do you know what I mean? But apparently it flushes out toxins of your body and bits down there. So it's kind of healthy as well in a good way, I think, from what I understand. But it's just a pain in the ass, isn't it, as a female? Especially, I mean, I can't swim, but especially if you're into swimming and water stuff, do you know what I mean? All that type of thing. It's a bit of a pain. Or sport. I'm not into sport either. So I still have to do exercise for strength of my back and stuff, but it does help not being into sport because I don't have to worry about stuff like that if I'm in pain. Do you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? I mean, a guy, in practical theory, because I've lived with guys before in the past, they've got to get used to that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And they should never actually say that the person's moody. They should just be concerned that it's hurting them, because it's not really about being moody. It's about being in pain. You don't want to. You don't want to go into the beach and call sharks. Oh, that's a really bad joke, Eddy. Oh. Yeah, I know she says she's moody, but that's not what you should be answering as a male. You should be going, darling, I love you anyway, regardless of your moods. We all have moods. Even guys have moods when we're feeling peed off and upset and angry. Everyone has moods. It's not a woman thing. Something I don't particularly like society doing is when they talk about women being moody on that type of thing. Sorry to leave this interesting discussion, but I have to go to bed now. Good night. Oh, night, Andy. Thanks, my friend, for being here. I do, but in the end, it was her choice. Oh, yeah. I mean, if that's what she said and she decided, of course, you have to respect her decision. Do you know what I mean? Like, some women just have such bad pain that they maybe not be able to deal with other things as well. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just thinking, when you said about wanting to live together and get married, how that would actually work out in real life, in practice, which is what happens when, the difference between an online relationship and the reality of having one. If you want to live together, which you've said you do, I don't want to live with the guy. I can't, I can't, we both know things have to be different in real life. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Because I don't personally, I can't really sleep very easily in front of someone in the same bed as someone. Like, some asexuals can. They love sharing a bed. They love the warmth of their person next to them. They love spooning and that type of thing. Other asexuals, they don't like that at all. They like having separate beds or separate houses or separate bedrooms. Do you know what I mean? So it all depends on the individual. But you sound like you know her very well. You've talked about stuff, but it's very different, like moving from like online relationship to offline. That's why it's recommended to try and meet each other in person as soon as you can, really, so you can kind of like get a good idea of if it would work in real life or not, rather than spending a long time over it. But I mean, I guess the 2 years is before you met in person has done really well for you both. Oh yes, it is it's a major step. Yeah, it's a major step. I mean, I would have to have some. If a guy was interested in me, he'd have to come and visit me quite a few times before. I mean, I don't want to live with a guy. He'd have to come and move and get a job over here and live near me. Do you know what I mean? If I ever had a guy abroad, and I'm attracted mostly to guys in their 20s, so most of them don't have their own money. So that's why I really need to find someone in this country, because most don't have the money to actually come and move abroad. to my country, you know what I mean, without a visa, because I don't want to get married. So you know what I mean? It's 10 years trying to get her and 2 years in this relationship. Oh yeah, you were 10 years trying to get her. Yeah, I think, you know, when you spend that long trying to get someone and 2 years being in the relationship, I think you find her very valuable, don't you? In that, you know, she's an important part of your life that you wouldn't want to be without. That is that I have to say, that is a lot of dedication. A lot of dedication. You know, it just goes to show you what true love is, so doesn't it? You know? Like, I get some guys and, you know, they're so wishy-washy, and I'm like, you don't really love the person. You can't do, because a guy, I've already been told categorically by other heterosexual guys, for example, that a guy, once he really loves a woman, he will do absolutely anything to be with her, no matter what. He will literally move countries for her. And, you know, so if a guy says to me, oh, I can't do that because I'm interested in foreign guys, then I know he's not the right guy for me, because the right guy would literally do that. You know what I mean? I do believe that as well. I believe that if there is a Indian guy out there for me in another country, he will actually move and get his butt over here. You know what I mean? All this for a girl I seen on YouTube. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that at the beginning. It was a girl you saw on YouTube. I wonder if I know her, actually. Obviously, you can't mention her name in this, but I wonder if, well, I don't, well, it's up to you, but I don't think you'd want to do that. But I wonder if I know this person. But you know, I've been YouTubing since 2015, you know, but mine's about asexuality, so I don't think I would know her, because it's not asexuality she was YouTubing about, is it? And I tend to watch mostly personal and professional development videos and dating and relationship videos, which is why I talk about on this channel a lot. I tend to watch those type of videos more than anything, so I don't think I would have seen her or know of her, because she's in a different type of YouTube genre to me. But, you know, I will send you her channel. She doesn't have access to her account anymore. Oh, bless. Yeah. I mean, it's really nice that you've seen her on YouTube. I mean, that would be a dream of mine, you know, for an Indian guy to see me on my YouTube channel here, Indian asexual guy, and think, oh, I really want to be with her, and then take steps to actually get over here to see me and be with me. Do you know what I mean? I do think it's a very, very highly romantic love story, and where, you know, which means dreams can come true. You know, it's not just complete fairy tales in films, because I do think, you know, like, people are like, oh, it's all fairy tales in films, it doesn't happen in real life. But I believe that if two people really love each other and they believe in the fairy tale coming true, and they both want it that much, that it can become a reality. Do you know what I mean? You know, I utterly believe that. You know, I've always believed that I will have an Indian guy one day, and he will come and be with me. He will move to live near me. I totally believe that, you know. I really, really, really believe that. I honestly do. I've thought about it for years. I wished that all possible, and I was giving up. A wish made all this possible. I was giving up. Yeah. Love will find a way. Oh, it's really important. Like, I know lately I was watching this guy. He's a comedian, Steve Harvey. I don't know if you've heard of him. But anyway, he's also an American actor, because I've got a film that he's in. And I watch his channel quite a lot. And obviously he's a highly sexual guy, not asexual guy. And he was on about, you know, just ask, you know, because he preaches a lot of God in a good way, not a conventional way, because he said he's not conventional with that, and he just takes what he wants from the Bible and and uses it when it pleases him. So obviously it's very kind of taboo and unconventional what he said, but he's like been in a lot of problems in his past life, lived in a car for 2 or 3 years, and then he just like, is it like, then he's had like 5 TV shows in his life. So he talks a lot about God and stuff, and he says, oh, you know, all you have to do is ask him, like, just say to God, I would like this now, and people just don't actually ask for what they want outright. But it just goes to show you that, you know, whether you believe in God, the world, the universe, planet, higher powers, you know what I mean, that type of thing, then the powers that be, in the spiritual sense, even if you don't believe in God, you know, it just goes to show you, if you ask for what you really want, you get it. And so I think it's important to do that, you know. And it's important to, like, see if what you really do want, you know, like I said that night, didn't I, before I went to the club, I give myself permission to kiss a guy outside of a relationship. That's the first time I've ever done that in my life. Like total permission to kiss whatever guy I want, as long as I feel comfortable and happy. And then the same night, I had my first kiss with a proper kiss. Well, I didn't class the other guy before because he was trying to bite me. He was kissing. So, I had my first kiss with an Indian guy. And it was that was like out of the movie because he wasn't even looking at me when he came in. I thought, if this is my guy, he'll come over to me. I mean, he wasn't my guy afterwards because he didn't want to keep in contact with me. But literally, he turned around when he wasn't even looking at me, came on the stage, started dancing in front of me. And then he was like, looking at me shortly afterwards and ended up kissing me quite quickly after that. And you know what I mean? For over an hour. And so that was kind of like what I wanted. Sometimes I can think about going to my club and thinking an Indian guy's going to be there tonight, or someone that I'm going to like kissing is going to be there tonight. And it just happens because, what you think about you can actually make to reality. It's really important. She said to me, I found a save convo from our first day, she wrote. She said to me, I found a saved conversation from our first day, she wrote. Oh, that's really nice. The other thing that I think has stopped me from finding someone is that I'm asexual. The other thing that I think has stopped me from finding someone is that I'm asexual. Well, technically I'm grey asexual. I mean, I do feel sexual attraction occasionally, but it's only twice a year. So, Eddy, you are asexual then, not heterosexual. Is that right? Am I reading that right? Or have I just had an illusion? Oh, hello. Hello, host. Thank you. I'm Sandra, otherwise known as Asexualized. Bless you. No, her words to me. Oh, right. I thought you were saying they were from you and you were revealing something about yourself. Ah, right. Okay. Right. Her first words that she wrote to you, Eddy, were the other thing I think has stopped me from finding someone is that I'm asexual. Well, technically I'm grey asexual. I mean, I do feel sexual attraction occasionally, but it's only like twice a year. Right. Okay. Amy Aled TV. Is that how you pronounce it? Amy or Miad? Amy Alad. Is that how you pronounce it? Well, hello. That's what she said to you. I know. I thought you were rereading something about yourself then, Eddy, for a minute. I really did. I'm like, what? You're really asexual? Oh, bless you. Great. Nice to see you. So she also said, unfortunately, I'm sex repulsed all the damn time. Most people can't even wrap their heads around that. Never mind know what to do with it. I'm, however, a romantic ace. Oh, that's great. That's really, really good. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, being a grey asexual who does experience sexual attraction, some people wouldn't understand why they'd be sex repulsed, but I am personally sex repulsed. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. I am personally sex repulsed asexual. But I'm not. So I have grey area of kissing, in case you didn't guess that now. But I don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever. It's zero diddly squat. But I love kissing, which my kissing is very sexual in behaviour. So a lot of asexuals wouldn't like it. It'd be too sexual in behaviour for them. But sexuals are often too sexual for me because they go too far with it and they can make me feel uncomfortable. So it's very difficult because I'm like stuck. I feel I'm a bit stuck between being more suitable for a heterosexual in terms of the kissing and the behavior I have for the kissing, but very, very much definitely 100% asexual because I don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever. But and more in terms of like the sweet innocent side of the relationship, the romance, meeting up for dates and going to the cinema and talking lots, all that type of thing. She also said, unfortunately, I'm sexual. Sorry. And lastly, she said, if you're still interested, that's great. If not, I understand. I just want you to know that these things up front because I believe communication is important to any relationship. I did not hesitate and never been happier. Oh, see, that's what I mean. That's really good that she did that she was very upfront, very open, very honest, and explained what it meant. And that's what I would encourage any asexual person to do, especially if they're thinking about getting into a relationship with a heterosexual person. Is it's only fair to let them know the truth, you know? Like, it's not fair for a sexual person to say to an asexual person they can live without sex when they can't and be unfaithful. But it's equally not fair for an asexual person to say to a sexual person, well, or you know, well, not say to a sexual person the truth about them. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, like Eddy is completely correct, and so is his partner, that, you know, unless there's communication from the beginning, open, honest communication, you know, which is, that's the most important thing in a relationship. If you haven't got that, you haven't got anything. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm getting out of water here. I might have to go in a few minutes. So that's really, really good, Eddy. Really, really good. Sorry, I need to pull water because my voice is going. Sounds like I'm going to the toilet, but really I'm not. Sorry. But yeah, that's really good. I think that's a good end to the video, actually. Really good end, like, to tonight's show. I think I might end it there because it's really important. I'm glad you see the benefits of loving an asexual, and the fact that we tend to be a lot more open, upfront, honest, say things like that it is. And we do talk very bluntly about sex. Have you noticed that as well? It's like I find with a lot of sexual people, specifically heterosexuals, in terms of me, because obviously I'm only attracted to guys, not female, you know, that we tend to be a lot more open and honest about sex and what we do and don't like in a relationship, and how sex affects us or not. Do you know what I mean? And so I think asexuals tend to be more open, honest, and have more open, honest conversation about sex than sexuals do, which is very ironic, but I think it's a real truth. So I think asexuals can benefit society in that respect as well, that in fact we're very blunt, open and honest people about that, and we don't have a problem talking about it, which helps relationships in general, really. It was great knowing you all. We are all family now. Oh, thank you, Eddy. That's really sweet. Thank you so much. But yeah, I'm going to end it there because I've been live streaming for over 2 hours now, and I think the fact that, you know, Eddy is not asexual, but in a relationship with an asexual person who he's going to meet in September. You'll have to definitely let us know how it goes. And that, you know, that it's really, really important to know that, you know, it is possible that some sexual people can be in relationships with asexuals and not have sex. It's really, really important. So yeah, like Sam says, thanks. Sam says, thanks, Eddy, for sharing your story. It is great. You have so much love for your girl. I wish you all the best for the future. Yeah, so do I, Eddy. I'm glad you've come on this channel. I really appreciate you being here. Really, really do. And I always give a lot of love out to the people on this channel before I go. So I always blow kisses usually to people, even though I don't do this in real life, give kisses to everyone in person, right? But yeah, you are a very lucky fella, very good lucky fella. So I want to give a lot of love to everyone who's been on this channel tonight. Andy was on this channel earlier. Salem was on this channel earlier. I'm trying to remember everyone now. Eddy, obviously, thank you so much for coming on this channel. Best friend Sam, thank you so much. Ameliad, is that how you pronounce it? Your name, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much to everyone else who's watching. If I've missed anyone out, I do apologize. Please, 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 if you haven't already, subscribe by hitting the great big subscribe button down below. And don't forget to hit that great big bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. Don't forget to share this channel with anyone you think may benefit from it. It is youtube.com/asexualize my asexual life. That's all you have to do. They just have to put the backslash and asexualize my asexual life, and they'll come straight to my channel. Obviously, if you're interested in this book, this fibromyalgia self-help handbook to have less pain, more energy, and feel happier in your life, the link is down below in the description. And so is my link for my Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, A Celebration of Asexual Diversity book. That is in the description down below anyway. And this does actually have asexual who is with a bisexual person, and they don't have sex either. And so that is a good story as well. Eddy, may the goddess bless you all, and I hope your 2020 is full of joy. Thank you so much, Eddie. Fantastic ice cream, and blessings to you too, Eddie. Yes, thank you so much, Eddie. You are a lucky fella. I'm glad you recognise that, and she's lucky to have an understanding sexual person in her life for a relationship. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to how things go for you in September. I hope it goes really, really well. And I'm really pleased to hear it's an asexual person who's upfront and honest about their asexuality. And I hope this stands as a testament to why it's important for asexuals to be completely open and honest with their sexual potential partner before they even get into a relationship with them, so it doesn't waste any time and everyone knows what hymn sheet they're singing from, which hopefully should be the same one. Samuel, awesome, best wishes, pal. Brilliant, that's wonderful. So thank you so much. I'm going to say a very, very good night to you, or good morning wherever you are in the world. Good day to you. And thank you again, Eddie. We really, 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 really so appreciated you being on this channel, and thank you for having the guts to come on here when you were having a kind of not a good experience on Tumblr. You're always welcome here anytime. Really, really appreciate you. Really appreciate you. And thanks to everyone else who's joined me tonight, the people that are asexual and the people that are not asexual. Until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's, like I always say, and take care. And I love you all. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you. I'm honoured. Thank you, Sam. Night, everyone. Lots of love. Take care. Bye. See you soon. Bye.